Hey guys, what's going on? AP Sports back with another one. You guys might have just seen our one on the Saints Bucks. Make sure to check that one out if you're checking this one out. We mentioned in that one, thanks for the recent support on our last video. 100 views obviously might not be a lot compared to what you guys used to.
It's a lot for us. 120, big moves.
But honestly, that is monumental stuff for us. So thank you guys for that.
Don't forget to subscribe as well. It helps. Seriously.
And so people that did subscribe, thank you so much.
Goated.
Basketball stuff is on the way. Football stuff's on the way.
We will do some draft profile videos. Denny Avdija. We'll do some Obi Toppin, LaMelo. We'll talk about all those top guys.
The draft is not disappearing, but we're also an NFL podcast. So
yes, sir.
We do it all. But yeah, so we already talked about Saints, Bucks, and a separate one of these little game preview things for week one. But next up, Titans, Broncos, two of the most intriguing teams, in my opinion, of this year. I think the Titans, people are talking about them Super Bowl contenders. They just picked up Jadeveon. They
haven't changed much except lost Logan.
They obviously traded away Jarrell.
Dude, that hurts.
But they signed all their big pieces back. And so they obviously had success with Tannehill and Derek last year, but the real thing is can they have sustained success with these two guys? And that's what this first game, I don't want to overreact here because last year it took them a couple games to get going. I think it could be the same way this year, but people are going to analyze the Titans after this game. And honestly, people are going to decide whether or not they think they're contenders.
Yeah.
I know it's obviously overblown week one and all that, but a lot of the media is going to consider them contenders. They can blow out this young Broncos team. It's definitely a taller task than most people are anticipating. The Broncos didn't have the greatest year last year, but they showed a ton of promise.
They were rebuilding, and they still are, and they're doing a good job, I think.
I feel like they've done incredibly well. In the draft, they got a lot of receivers. They got KJ Hamler, I believe, and Jerry Jeudy early on.
Did they get T. Higgins?
No, that was
Ravens.
That's Joe Burrow. That's the Bengals.
My bad. Okay.
But they picked up Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler, two good receivers. They obviously have Noah Fant as well back there. And the Broncos have
Melvin. They have three great running backs, I have to say.
Even Royce Freeman's not bad.
Royce Freeman is good. He has not had any chances. He only gets the ball if Philip Lindsay's
been good. They don't have a single running back that's bad on that roster.
Rolls Royce, as they call him.
Yeah,
my boy Rolls Royce.
Their defense is very sound as well. They've got good depth on defense. It basically all
Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb is great.
The one
Von Miller.
The one thing that really hurt him this year, I will say, is Von Miller is going to be out for potentially the entire season. I obviously hope not. I hope he can come back.
Go Titans. Did you hear that?
But he's going to be out for this game. So that obviously sucks as one of the premier pass rushers in the NFL. It always sucks to see one of those guys go down. But, let's kind of get some predictions going. Who do we think is going to win this game? What do we think the reaction is going to be? Let's start getting into that sort of
stuff. I think that Darrington Evans is going to pop off.
That would he just for some context really fast. The Titans picked him in the second round of this year's draft. He's a running back from Appalachian State, I believe.
He's good.
And, the Titans in the past have relied on running back earlier in the season.
Speaking of running backs, you plug a running back in the Titans system, Derrick Henry is going to do better. But if they can change the way that they run with also they got Isaiah Wilson, who is a monster. Do we even know if he's going
to play, though? He might face a suspension.
No, he got a DUI. Will they suspend him for that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, if I'm right now expecting Isaiah Wilson to play, Isaiah Wilson is going to be – he's just a big boy, and I think he can move mountains for the Titans. Plus Taylor Lewan, Dennis Kelly. Who they signed another guy, the Rams guy.
Not Whitworth. It's I know who you're talking about. His name will come to me in a second. But just for context, we're talking about the Titans' offensive line, and that.
I said Taylor Lewan.
It's Roger Saffold.
Roger Saffold. He was good last year.
But the Titans, one of the better offensive lines in the NFL when it comes to run blocking, as well as even pass blocking.
Yeah, if they just open up if they give Ryan some time to throw the ball, AJ can, I don't want to say dominate, but he can have a good game. Also, another guy that I think is going to be really big is Jonnu Smith showed flashes of like fantastic play last year. He's had multiple big games. He's a big athletic tight end. He's not a bad blocker. He's shown a lot of good offensive capabilities, and I'm excited to see what they do with him, especially seeing as their top two wide receivers are A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. Yeah. So, and then maybe Adam Humphries, who didn't really have any role last year. So I'm expecting Jonnu Smith to have a pretty good game.
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me. I want to talk about the Broncos quarterback, Drew Lock, really fast. Obviously added a ton of weapons this offseason.
Cortland Sutton, though.
I mean, he basically has the dream set up at this point, depending on if these receivers can pan out. The team clearly believes in him. They went all in on offensive weapons in the draft, and they already have a pretty sound defense. It's going to be a good year for the Broncos, I think. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to how Drew Lock plays. The Broncos have, in the past, had some pretty horrible draft picks when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
the tall white guy
Drew Lock even won a couple games last year, was impressive for him. So they went all in. Really, this year, I feel like it's going to be kind of a test year to see if they went all in too early. Drew Lock is a guy I really like, but, at the end of the day, it's about winning games.
He has a lot to prove, and he has also really high expectations. Yeah. So even if he has a good year, but doesn't necessarily become like the guy everybody's envisioning, that can hurt his future as a quarterback in the league. And you also kind of have to think about it like that's some stress on his mind. Like, they're expecting everything from me. Like, oh, I had an okay season last year, but I came in after game like 6 and started playing. So it comes down to if Drew Lock has a good, the ability to push past what people expect of him and just play like he normally would. I think the weapons he has, great. O-line could probably be better, but Noah Fant is good. He has good weapons, 3 good guys to be handing the ball off to. So I'm optimistic.
One thing I'll add about both teams with that. So Drew Lock, obviously, one other thing I want to talk about was his leadership. A lot of the guys in the Broncos believe in him, despite his, obviously being younger. A lot of the guys there believe in him and, trust him to be their quarterback. And then on the flip side of things, the Titans, week 1 Titans is a different animal. Once you get past week 1 and get to week 2 through 6 is pretty rough.
That was with Mariota, though.
But week 1 Titans, I don't care who it was with. Week 1 Titans, the Titans are a team of habit. They go 9-7 every year. They win the first game, and they're bad for the middle of the year, and they do well in the end of the year. They just do it every year.
Every year.
So I don't see the Broncos winning this game. I don't even know if I see it being close. The Titans defense just every year comes out ablaze.
And Jadeveon, I think, is going to be great to start out because he's talking. I think he already has a little bit of chemistry built up. Taylor Lewan is so I know he doesn't even play on the same side of the ball, but to have somebody that can reach out, has the charisma and attitude to be like, let's go, come on, we're going to win the Super Bowl. That's a really good part to have, a good person to have on your team, somebody like that.
Yeah, and shout out to Will Compton too. They both do busting with the boys, which is obviously
special teamer. What? Did you hear that?
Well, he's also, he might get a little bit of play time at linebacker. I like both of those guys a lot, obviously, because I watch their podcast, Busting with the Boys, every now and then. But that is a big reason that Jadeveon signed with the Titans.
Just vocalize support. People wanted Jadeveon Clowney and the Titans organization.
It's nice to be known that you're wanted. You don't see Alvin out on social media saying hey, Jadeveon, come over here.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Titans
Cam Jordan had a couple things.
Yeah. I think they have a great locker room. The Broncos, at the end of the day, though, Drew Lock's an experience, and the Titans are an incredible defensive team. I'd say
you could argue top 5. You could argue top 5.
Could argue top 5. I didn't want to make any stretches here, but I don't see the Broncos.
I don't want to say we're biased, but we also know a lot about these teams, and the Titans have shown that they have both offensive and defensive capabilities too. I mean, they made the AFC champ. You can't underplay that. They made the AFC championship last year with Ryan Tannehill as their starting quarterback. So, and I think Ryan Tannehill didn't carry the team on his back. That had a lot. Derrick Henry, obviously, but the defense stepped up in big moments as well. So,
yeah, it was just an incredible year last year for the Titans, and honestly, I kind of see them picking up where they left off. But Broncos are a team I'm really looking forward to watching. But the Week 1 Titans, they're just
it happens.
They lose. They don't.
I've got the Titans winning. I'm sure you have the same.
Yeah, I have the Titans winning. They're just a team I believe in this year, really for the whole year, not just this first week. I know it's the Week 1 Titans. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. Make sure to check out the Saints-Bucks one. And I think after this, we're going to record a Browns-Ravens one. So yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.